Submitting agency, Moscow Police Department. Yes, this is Idaho State Police Forensic Services, but the submitting agency of all this paperwork is the Moscow Police Department. That's important. Moscow is going to tell you, we didn't know who Bryan Kohberger was until the 19th. All of this paperwork that the Idaho State Police is showing us, some fucking 2,356 pages of information that I'm only going to get you a part way through today, comes from Moscow Police Department. So when they tell you they don't know Bryan Kohberger, wait till you see what happens. When did the murders happen? November 12th, right? 13th, right? When did they have Bryan Kohberger's name? December 19th, 2022. This date received, December 5th, 2022. Is that not before? December 19th, 2022. Date received weeks before December 19th. Page 1 of 5, page 2 of 5 of this report, suspect, Bryan Kohberger. Fuck me. December 5th, 2022, weeks before Corporal Payne said, we didn't know who Kohberger was until Othram Labs tried to develop it, and they couldn't come up with anybody. They exhausted their resources, and then they turned it over to the FBI. And then the FBI came to us on December 19th, 2022, and said, you should be looking at Bryan Kohberger. Only at that point did we start looking into Bryan Kohberger. Yet Moscow Police Department submitted paperwork on the 5th, weeks before December 19th, saying, suspect, Bryan Kohberger. Now, by the way, all kinds of these documents have another suspect redacted. Bryan Kohberger's name accidentally, oh, you done fucked up. Bryan Kohberger's name is on the paperwork from December 5th, 2020. I can't tell you how many times I look at that and I'm like, am I missing it? December 19th is when we first heard about him. We didn't know who he was before that. There he is, Bryan Kohberger on the paperwork. One more time from the 5th. Because the DNA evidence linking Kohberger to the crime didn't happen until after Bryan Kohberger was already a suspect. Bryan Kohberger is a suspect on December 5th, 2022. They tell you they didn't know who he was until December 19th, 2022, which means before Othram Labs did their testing, before they gave up their testing, before the FBI took over the testing and developed the name to Bryan Kohberger as a tip that they didn't want to tell you how they got that name, they already knew Bryan Kohberger was involved with the crime. And then you've got Bryan Kohberger identified weeks before they tell us Bryan Kohberger was identified.